I'm Marcia Parcell, Health and Human Science Educator for Purdue Extension in Dearborn County. Loneliness happens to everyone at different points in their life. Halt is a strategy or principle to apply when we are stressed and not enjoying life. Join me as we learn about loneliness, apply Halt, and learn other activities and interventions and support to prevent loneliness or isolation. Participants will be empowered to communicate their feelings to others to assist in finding a solution to a situation. Participants will learn about some creative things that seniors have done, and they will also be asked to plan an action that they will take to prevent loneliness. Participants are asked to view the Loneliest Generation video, which aired on December 18, 2018 on Kentucky 3. Let's answer a few questions that were addressed in this video. The video suggests one way to battle loneliness is through volunteering. However, we are also told that it is one of the hardest things to do for an isolated person. According to Cigna, loneliness has the same impact on mortality as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Loneliness has a major impact on workplace productivity. Older women in particular are at high risk. They account for more than 60% of isolated older adults. Many factors or events can influence feelings of loneliness, such as moving, divorce, or separation, loss of friends or a partner, being by yourself during the holidays, loss of income, or other life events. The good news is that we can develop some skills to deal with the feeling. Acquiring these skills and strategies takes effort on our part, but they will bring peaceful solitude in the end. Janet Smith, an Iowa State human science specialist, gives us the HALT method. HALT requires someone to stop, pause, and think through someone else's or our own behavior. The acronym stands for hungry, angry, lonely, and tired. The philosophy of HALT is that when you are hungry, angry, lonely, or tired, you will be more likely to misbehave or act out. How many have had experiences that were not handled well because you were hungry, angry, lonely, or tired, or all of the above? We are not at our best when we are hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. As adults, we must halt and assess our personal emotional state and well-being. Join me as we learn about HALT and apply it to ourselves. We begin with H, which stands for hunger. As we think about hungry, we turn our thoughts to being without food, but we can also be emotionally hungry. We may be hungry for conversation with adults, for attention from others, for understanding, friendship, or comfort that food cannot provide. We need social and emotional support to satisfy these emotional hungers that exist due to living alone, being a single parent, or other life circumstances. Have you experienced emotional hunger at some point in your life? We now move to anger. Anger is often taken out on those closest to us. We are not comfortable in expressing anger, but sometimes anger spills out in unproductive ways. We are doing our daily routine and things just seem to not be going our way. When we are questioned by those around us, we have an unkind tone, hasty motions such as slamming doors, or criticize others. Unresolved anger leads to strains on our relationships with others. This unresolved anger can lead to suffering on ourselves and others in relationships such as partners or children. How can we cope with anger? We can do physical activity, mindfulness, meditation, deep breathing, breaks, communicate effectively, and seek professional help. These are all strategies to resolve feelings of anger. Have you ever used an I statement? Let's learn about I statements to honestly express our feelings to others without blaming or conflict. The I statement begins with I feel, and then you name an emotion: frustrated, upset, excited, disappointed. And after naming that emotion, then you explain the behavior. And after explaining the behavior, you explain why. Could we, and then you suggest some solutions or a solution. I statements are not blaming. They should not contain you followed by behavior. The I statement is to generate conversation around an individual's feelings around a situation. Can you think of a time when you could have used an I statement? Now that we have an effective way to express our feelings, let's take a more in-depth look at an I feel upset when the ideas of all members are not considered because all ideas should be valued. Could we use a system of voting that is anonymous? When you use an I statement to express your feelings and resolve a situation between you and a child, you and your spouse, or you and a friend, they are not always easy to use, but they are a useful tool to use in addressing difficult situations. You are opening the door to a possible resolution. Now we move to L in Halt. L stands for lonely. Adults can often find themselves isolated and alone. Who is your support network? Who are your peers? Reach out to them, but monitor how you interact with those you reach out to. Isolation and loneliness can lead to depression. A depressed person will have difficulty responding positively to others who they encounter. Had you thought of assessing for loneliness? Now we explore the T of Halt. T stands for tired. Adults often deal with interrupted sleep. When you have babies, they may keep you up. As the children enter the teen years, they may keep you up because they are not home. Adults tend to ignore tiredness, but it should be addressed. Physical tiredness can impact our well-being and increase our risk for accidents and conflict. Nap when possible, and going to bed early can be solutions for sleep deprivation. Adults can also experience exhaustion from taking on too much or being overwhelmed from leading overly busy schedules. This requires prioritizing what is most important, saying no in some instances, and taking a break from the schedule. Are you tired? Why are you tired? What must change so you are not tired? So the next time you're feeling stressed or you find yourself not enjoying life, consider the HALT acronym. It is a wonderful tool to gain insight to others' behaviors, but even more insightful into understanding your own behavior. Assess for hunger, anger, loneliness, and tired. This is one strategy. Different individuals find assistance through different avenues. If HALT does not seem to assist you, you might use this loneliness quiz. Even if you do not discover that you are lonely, we need or use different interventions and supports to prevent social isolation and loneliness. We're going to take a look at 9 different suggestions that have worked for others at various times in their life to prevent loneliness. We begin with the idea of physical activity. You can do many things to be physically active. For some, it's walking their neighborhood, while others take steps at the food bank or other community service to assist individuals in need. You also might join a class at a local gym or a walking or hiking group at a local park. So how do you stay active? Another suggestion is to connect with family and friends on a regular basis. Maybe it is Sunday morning breakfast after Mass with a group of friends. It might also be a Sunday evening call to a family member or a friend. Reach out to others. Invite them to join you for games, coffee, or other activities. How do you connect with family and friends regularly? Keep your mind busy and active with simple pleasures, such as word searches, reading, puzzles, or other hobbies. How do you keep your mind busy and active each day? Do you volunteer? Why do you volunteer? We often volunteer because helping others brings meaning into our days and makes us feel part of something larger than ourselves. How do you or would you volunteer? Join a senior group or club such as Extension Homemakers. What other groups are you aware of in your community? Combine creativity and connection by joining a book club or taking an art class. Start a knitting, quilting, sewing group, staging a play with friends, or starting a themed dining dinner club or similar group. I heard of ladies who formed a kitchen band. They entertain with kitchen items and comedy skits. What group would you start or join if you could? What do you like to do? What can you do to plan this activity? What can you plan that you like to do, such as a garden or a trip to visit someone? Planning is positive and gives you something to look forward to. What else do you do each day that is positive? Is driving a problem? What volunteer or formal transportation options exist in your community? Is there a neighbor or friend who can drive you? Do not make transportation issues prevent you from going. At times, we might want to stay in, but we still need ways to connect with others. Use technology to stay connected with family and friends, as well as community events. I have a father-in-law who plays music. I enjoyed his music through a Facebook Live event. How do you or have you connected to an interesting local event? We have discussed different supports and interventions to prevent loneliness and isolation. What is your creative solution? Identify one thing that you will do this next week to fight isolation and loneliness. How about a senior citizen playground? Would you go? Why or why not? In 1995, China built a playground for senior citizens due to a law that created a national physical fitness program focusing on older people. China evaluated its parks and decided to build playgrounds with equipment designed specifically for seniors. Many countries followed suit after seeing China's success with the playgrounds. In the August-September 2019 ARP, it was reported a playground had opened in St. Petersburg, Florida. I also have information about a possible playground at Akron, Ohio. Has anyone visited a senior citizen playground? Take action. So one isn't just the loneliest number, it may also be the unhealthiest, said Laurie Tiki. What will you do to protect yourself from loneliness? On the other hand, if you find yourself using these supports and interventions and you are feeling lonely for more days than not, contact your physician, local mental health agency, or employee assistance at your work. Sometimes professional help is needed to address loneliness. Focus on your behavior and actions. We can only change our behavior and actions. Assess your behavior and actions with the Halt principle. Then implement strategies to cure your loneliness. The idea for this lesson started with me reading the article, Is There a Cure for Loneliness?, which appeared in ARP December 2019, January 2020 by Lynn Darling. Due to increased risk and public awareness and interest in loneliness, there are hopeful signs that there is a cure to loneliness. How can you prevent loneliness for you and others? Take actions. Thank you to the many references that were available to give us interventions and strategies to assess for loneliness. Ideas to fight loneliness with creative solutions such as older adult playgrounds that increase physical activity and decrease loneliness, and the Halt principle to understand that our behavior and other individuals' behaviors, and the Live Well segment to establish how loneliness can affect us. Take action to prevent loneliness in your life.